I don't have the answers. I haven't found what I'm looking for. But I don't believe what's been put in front of me. And that doesn't make me a bad person. And I beg any of you out there watching this video who knows someone like me who's just been questioning the narrative that we've been fed, you just show some kindness and compassion to your fellow humans.
For the show, we had a time to fill. We had sponsors that were paying for certain things to be on the air, and it wasn't always just straight factual journalism. So if I knew that this was going on in the automotive world in such a basic, small level, it just made me really ask, what is going on out there? What else is going on? Who's paying these people's bills? Who's the one responsible for writing these scripts, right? And I just really started asking questions, and as you know, as most of your viewers know, that is no longer allowed anymore.
Freedom of press is one of the many freedoms that is eroding in Canada. And today I bring you a report about a journalist who was a former co-host of Driving Television on Global News Network, who says she was canceled for raising concerns about ethical standards in media today.
All right, guys, we just want to shed some light on some of the censorship. I know we do that all the time, but we wanted to talk a little bit about censorship of journalism in particular. We've covered a lot of sort of fight the fines where police have shut down journalists from reporting the other side of the story on things like the protests. We've even provided them with free lawyers to help fight their fines. You can help donate at that cause at fightthefines.com. But this is an interesting story, and it actually started a little bit before COVID. So tell us a little bit about what you did and where you worked.
Yeah, well, my name's Lacey Lee Elliott, and some of you might know me. I'm an automotive journalist. I was an automotive journalist. I was hosting a television show on Global National called Driving Television. I basically was test driving cars. We didn't have a lot of funding, so before COVID actually hit, we were canceled. We didn't have the funding, we didn't have the support. I've been YouTubing for a long time. It's just a hobby of mine. I'm driving some cool cars, I have some great experiences, and I was sharing it. I did a YouTube video titled Why I Personally Do Not Trust the Media. I'm part of the media. I had seen some of the inner workings of what goes on, and I was actually asked to censor the video. I was asked to take it down. I got in a lot of disagreement with AJAC, the Automotive Journalists Association of Canada, because my issue was this was my opinion, this was my experience, this was my, for lack of a better word, my truth. It wasn't that I was trying to say that all of journalism in a whole was this way, but this was my experience. And they were very upset. They were saying I was painting journalists with a bad brush and wanted me to take it down.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your article. What is it you were saying are the reasons that you distrust media?
Yeah, well, for me, I was doing automotive reviews, and two things. We had someone writing our scripts. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, whether you're, doing car reviews like me, or you're sitting in a theater reading off a teleprompter, somebody else is writing your scripts. But people were looking to me as a journalist and asking for recommendations and wanting to know that what I was saying about certain things was coming from me. And that wasn't necessarily the case. I did end up doing a lot of writing for other places like Auto 123, and this was an opportunity for me to express my views in a way that came straight from me. But for the show, we had a time to fill. We had sponsors that were paying for certain things to be on the air, and it wasn't always just straight factual journalism. So if I knew that this was going on in the automotive world in such a basic, small level, it just made me really ask, what is going on out there? What else is going on? Who's paying these people's bills? Who's the one responsible for writing these scripts, right? And I just really started asking questions, and as you know, as most of your viewers know, that is no longer allowed anymore.
We should be able to ask questions and not feel that our rights, our jobs, our lives are going to be negatively affected because we ask the questions. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this video. I've already gotten so much anger and so much hate, and I've lost work, and I've lost friends, and I've lost family. I don't have the answers. I haven't found what I'm looking for. But I don't believe what's been put in front of me. And that doesn't make me a bad person. And I beg any of you out there watching this video who knows someone like me who's just been questioning the narrative that we've been fed, you just show some kindness and compassion to your fellow humans. And keep asking questions, because despite what my journalist friend thinks, we're all if we stop asking questions. If we just blindly do what we're told, we're screwed.
Well, that's one of the things I love about working for Rebel News is I get to write what my reports are, and I get to feel my emotion and then just spit it out at the camera, and hopefully people enjoy it. So I couldn't imagine having to be forced to say someone else's words all the time. But something else you said there about how, we're not supposed to ask questions and things like that. It reminds me of New Zealand's Prime Minister, who just said the following.
New Zealanders must prepare. But do not panic, prepare. And when you see those messages, remember that unless you hear it from us, it is not the truth. And I really ask people, just visit covid19.govt.nz. It has all of the up-to-date information. And we will continue to provide everything you need to know.
Just believe the government.
Yeah, that's nuts. And it's like, are people just nodding their head and saying yes to this stuff? How do we make a breakthrough to people who watch media that's scripted and kind of orchestrated?
People need to know that what they're watching on media isn't just black and white. If you watch the credits, you'll see who's sponsoring them, who actually has the job of writing the scripts. If you actually take the time, do the research, take a little bit longer to see where your information's coming from, you can see at the end of the day who's paying the bills, who's sponsoring the shows, who's actually writing the words that are coming out of the reporters' mouths. And it's again, do your own homework, do your own research. It takes a little bit of extra time, because who wants to sit through and watch the credits? But it's there, it's all there, and people just don't want to see it. They're not looking. I still love automotive, cars and travel. So my YouTube channel is just my name, my brand, Lacey Lee Elliott. Life is like a road trip. And I'm talking about travel and adventures and my experiences. And, recently I did a post called Why I Think Mask Exemption Should Be Okay. And this is just another interesting piece. I really went after human kindness and compassion. Like, what's happened in the world that we can't understand why some people can't wear a mask? And I was driving a Mazda vehicle in this little piece that I did, and Mazda will no longer associate with me because they had people complain that my opinions was putting people's lives at risk, or the general public safety at risk for my opinion. And it was really hard, and I know the PR department at Mazda had a hard time having that conversation, and I really respect them for it. But it's really unfortunate that the whole intent of that YouTube video was kindness and compassion, and what came out of it was a risk of public safety for voicing my concern.
Well, and not only that, it was about mask exemptions being okay, which we know was approved. That was an approved thing by the Public Health Office. So, the Karens, they get the last word in a lot, I think, with things like this.
Yeah, so, if people would love to have a look and support me, this is part of what I'm doing. I've had so many people say how brave I am, and I don't feel brave. I'm sharing my opinions, I'm sharing my views, I know I'm going against the grain, but a lot of people, you probably know better than I do, are really afraid to speak up, and I really just want people to know they're not alone in thinking these things. They're not crazy. There are a lot of people out here that feel the same way.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this or if the viewers caught our reports about the censorship we've had trying to ask questions of the Prime Minister and the Premier of BC recently, but on a report where we tried to ask them a question about the burning churches, a media liaison came up to Matt Brevner, who's behind the camera right now, and literally told him that in order for us to get a question, we had to earn the respect of state media reporters like CBC and CTV. Take a look at this.
The thing is that in order for you guys to be respected from all the other media, it's not only me,
Okay.
But to be respected from the other media, the other journalists, usually what they do, to ask questions, they gather together very respectfully. They deal with each other, and they will say, okay, CBC, you might have the first question. And then,
Sure.
with CTV and all those
But there was
guys,
someone from your office that was handling questions yesterday at the podium. for the
Alex,
speakers. And,
yes.
And honestly, we're not accountable to CBC or CTV or anybody else.
I know. If you guys are behaving like the others are behaving,
Yeah.
in a normal and fashioned way, okay, I guess you'll pave your way to. You have to respect that.
I mean, I would like to believe you, but it's just not the case.
So how does that make you feel?
I'm literally flabbergasted for words. I'm standing here going, how does that work? But at the end of the day, what I've always respected with social media in general and places like Rebel News is that you guys are asking the questions. You're not scripted. I think that deserves respect. Huge amount of respect.
Well, thank you so much for that, and we hope that you guys do appreciate our journalism that comes straight from the heart. If you do, we need your help. We don't get millions of dollars from the government, and we are not willing to suck up to state media just to ask a question, which is why I guess I got manhandled by the RCMP trying to ask Justin Trudeau a question. But anyways, you can support our journalism by donating at rebelfieldreports.com. That supports many of the stuff we do, the cost to travel, which we do conservatively, and we appreciate your support. Drea Humphrey at Rebel News. Thank you. If you'd like to help fight for the other side of the story to be told, please support our journalism by donating what you can at rebelfieldreports.com. We appreciate your support, and it's the only way we can do what we do.